welcome everyone to the 7th episode of Dead Inside Podcast. I believe it is. Yeah, 7th episode, and today,
7th.
My guest is none other than
Lucky number, I like that.
a founding member of Po Boys and Poets.
Ooh, yes sir.
Spoke.
How y'all doing, man? Hey, thank you for having me on here. This is dope, man. I appreciate it. You asked me to be on here. I really like it. Seen a couple of your, just looked at a couple of your shows, man. I like how they look. So it's good to be on here.
Hell yeah, man. So, how did we meet? Because I always like to ask my guests how we meet, because sometimes they have a different recollection.
Okay.
Because I remember.
We met at Cafe Coco.
That's right.
We met at Cafe Coco, and it was on one of our first shows. I'm trying to remember who the feature was on that. Dang,
I can't remember the feature.
I want to say it might have been Carmen. What month was it? Do you
It
remember?
was April, because it was like not long after my birthday.
It might have been Ceddy Mac. I don't know, but yeah, it was okay. That was around the time when I first, was beginning to host.
Yeah.
So that shit was pretty dope.
I'll tell you, there's nothing like hosting.
Man, what? Tell me about it. Hey, yo, cause we used to have my man Mo who was the host.
Yeah.
But now I'm the host, and it's just like, shit. And he could do it without. I had to write shit. I had to make sure I was saying the right names and stuff. So,
Right.
but it's fun. It's fun to reach out and talk to people. Cause that shit is different. Than just talking one-on-one or posting shit online where you can have like just a one-on, like everybody sees it, doesn't see it at the same time. So when you're speaking, everybody hears it at the same time. You get more of an authentic reaction,
Right.
than just, they saw it, I'm gonna say something later or respond, which is fine. That's what social media is for. But it's just different, to see people's faces, really, honestly. So.
Oh, I agree. For sure. And I'd like to ask, so how did the formation of Po Boys and Poets start?
Hey man, it goes way back, but essentially, I wasn't part of it when it started. I wasn't technically the founder. It was a man by the name of, he calls himself Black Atticus.
Okay.
And he started it, I want to say, in Knoxville. It was originally a Knoxville version of Po Boys and Poets. But I'm not sure if they do. Honestly, I don't think they do shows anymore. Well, they probably do, like, on and off. But it started there. From what I remember being told is that he met up with my man. I want to say he met Mo. He met Mo when he came to Nashville, and then Mo got his cousin named TJ. TJ is a really good behind the scenes man, and like TJ, is Mo's cousin, so they wanted to do some shit. I think Mo just moved to Nashville from Kansas probably like a year or two before, or maybe a year before he met him. He met this guy named Black Atticus, and he pitched it to Mo. Mo loved it. Mo was already, he's like the most, like, yes, you see Mo, that's a poet. You can already tell.
Mm-hmm.
So Mo loved it, and then him and TJ, I believed, started it up with also my man Frank Frizzy Sykes, who was pretty much helping them, really getting it up on its feet and going,
Mm-hmm.
to where we could, be able to have a steady show. So, and I met them when they did I think I came on one of their shows, but then they did like a poetry slam, and that shit was dope. That's when I really met them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool, because, I started performing around 2019, but I wasn't, doing spoken word. Well, kind of was. I was doing storytelling, not really poetry. But I started performing poetry around late 2020 when I first started doing my show at Twin Kegs. And for the longest time, like, I allowed poets, but I wanted it to be more storytelling based.
Right.
And I had storytellers, but then eventually all my storytellers, they just kind of vanished off. And I just started having poets, which I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm cool with that. But I wasn't getting, like, consistent people. You know, I would have a few people come in, like, for a few weeks, but then they just kind of wandered off. And so, for the longest time...
That's how it is. That's how it is.
Yeah, and, like, for a while, because this is when, like, COVID restrictions were, like, being lifted up a little bit. So I thought I was, like, the only one that had, like, poetry open mics happening. But then one day at Twin Kegs, these two ladies, they popped up for my event, and they told me about Po' Boys and Poets having an event.
And do you remember their name? Didn't you say, do you remember who they were?
I'm so bad with names.
I'm just wondering, dang.
But,
okay,
like,
cool.
it was a lesbian couple. I think one of their Instagram handles is, like, Goddess or...
Oh, yeah, Iris
Yes.
and Eli.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they came out to my show one time, and, yeah, when they were there, they told me about Po' Boys and Poets.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll try to check it out. And then I decided to show up at that open mic at Cafe Coco, and I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people here. Like, they bring in a lot of people. Like, I need to start coming out to this show and start networking, connecting.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did, because now it's like, I think more than ever now, I think the poetry scene's been booming.
It's crazy, man. You know, like, I'm just so surprised.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so surprised. Like, and I shouldn't be, but it's like, got a lot of there was a time where there was a sudden lull. I want to say, you know, they used to my man Lucky used to do a spot called damn, he's gonna be mad because I can't. It was at Carol Ann's. It was at Carol Ann's.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be so mad if he did that. God, he hasn't had one in a little minute, but like. It was so lit at Carol Ann's. I think it might have been called Poetry in Motion. Something like that. But he had that going for a minute. I think the Nine Bar used to have poetry shows until the Nine Bar closed. Amani Rima, when she was running a lot of shows, or you know, the bigger ones here. When she, you know, I think she moved up. She's like back and forth from Fresno or whatever. So, but then when it started to be a lull right before COVID hit, because you know the Nine Bar is not there anymore. Money kind of goes back and forth. We used to do shows at Mogul's Barbershop. Like, there was a lot of shows being done at Mogul's Barbershop, and then some ignorant ass shit happened there.
Yeah.
Not at one of our shows, but like someone else's shows that kind of got Mogul shut down. So I want to say right before the pandemic, I mean, we still had some shows going. We still had shows. We still found a way to do shows. It was just surprising, and it shouldn't be at this point. So
yeah,
pretty cool, man. I gotta give thanks to my man TJ. You know, he helps me out a lot. So a lot.
Dope as hell. So what got you into poetry and writing poetry?
Oh man, look, isn't that the question? Isn't that bro? I get that so much. Like, oh man, you know, I always, you know, I want to say always, obviously, but like probably want to say middle school. I really, you know, kind of started, you know, keeping track of certain things that I wrote. Actually, middle school was a lot of times where I would like rewrite, you know, things that I liked. And so that kind of got me into, doing my own original stuff. And at the time I had a nice little size binder, but like 7th grade, I threw that shit away. I want to say 7th or 8th grade. I threw that shit away on some emotional shit, and I didn't write. From then, I didn't write. I didn't start back up writing until my junior year of high school, honestly. I always had, like some poetry that I had saved on my email, but it wasn't that much.
Right.
So I want to say, late elementary, middle school, I really started up, slowed down, stopped, started back up in junior year. When a friend of mine who, back when I was really going to church, a friend of mine would he would read his poems. Like he was like a childhood friend. He goes by the name of Word.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives in Atlanta now, but like back then, when I saw him like perform it, at church, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's so cool. I always wanted to I always used to like to perform that shit. Even though like back when I was writing, I almost never spoke my poetry out loud.
Yeah.
So then, when I saw my friends start doing it, it really like sparked something. So yeah, I guess you could say I started middle school. So yeah. Then how long ago was that? Shit, 2005, 6. Man, that feels so long ago. So.
Yeah, I pretty much the similar way for me, because like I started writing, I want to say like in elementary school, probably like 3rd grade. Like I used to love to write like anything, stories, poems. Did a little bit in middle school, but then kind of stopped. And then when I got to high school, I, kind of stopped writing. Didn't really get along with people at my high school, so I just like stayed home and be a recluse, play Xbox. But then like I want to say it was senior year I actually got back into writing because I was dating someone, and it was just like, well,
ain't that the shit?
Right, it was just like I felt like just like I don't want to go off on her and get suspended, even though that didn't stop me. But I ended up writing some stuff, and I was like, you know what, I dig this. So I was slowly getting back into it, and then I went to college, which I had no idea at that time what I wanted to do. But then when I started taking like creative writing, I was like, okay, I know exactly what I want to do, and I don't think I really need to waste all this money in college. Even though I had 2 years of tuition free, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna not only write, but I would like to perform.
Yeah.
So after I got my associates in Universal Studies, it was just like, okay.
Universal Studies.
Yep. Just general studies.
Right.
So it was kind of like I wasted 2 years being in college, but I mean, it was
I
just
dropped
like.
out, so I mean, I can't say nothing.
But it's like, after taking that creative writing class, it was like, all right, I know exactly what I want to do.
Word.
I don't need a college degree. What I'm doing now, I should have done like after high school, honestly.
Word.
It's
honestly,
just like
you really realize that. It's like,
it's like
I
wasted 2 years.
I should have, in my opinion, if I would have really just been like, nah, let's do this. Man, I could have really, really covered a lot of ground,
Yep.
So, but it's all right, man. I still ended up making that decision. So it's cool to see it grow.
Yeah, and that's all that matters, really, is just here we are, doing what we love to do, and it's booming. We know like a lot of great people, because like music, like,
so many.
yeah,
Oh man, there's so many talented people out there. There's still people that like I've sort of kind of worked with that I really still want to actually work with.
yeah,
So you know, that's dope though. You know, it's still cool to have, you know, something that can still be, you know, fluid, still able to move.
mhm,
So there's a lot of movement, you know, in the poetry community. Like, you know, a lot of you know, just good vibrations.
right,
And you know, for lack of a better word, everybody uses that word. I'm trying to find something new. There's a nice frequency, you know. So I would say that a lot of action.
yeah, and also like special-
Kinetic energy. There we go. Kinetic energy. Let's go. All right, bet.
Haven't heard that word in like high school.
Man, I was thinking, I was like, it's there in my brain right now. You know, but I found it, so.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no, it's like really cool because like years ago, only a few people probably know about this. I actually started podcasting in 2020 when like everything got shut down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like it was just like, well, I can't do any shows. I was like, well, maybe podcasting would be pretty cool, and I did it for like a little bit, but it was like I had no clear direction of it. It was just kind of thrown together. There were some episodes where me and my friends were on, but we were just, you know, drinking and like there wasn't really much of a conversation, you know.
So,
it was just like
that's so interesting, man, because it's like I had a podcast show with well actually my man OJ
yeah,
has a podcast show, and or at least one that he's on. I know called Boys in the Ville. It's mostly like at least from what I've seen, I haven't seen everything, but it's a sports podcast. But me and him used to actually have our own podcast that we started, I want to say late 2018 or something like that.
okay,
And we got like 9 episodes. It's on the podcast app. It used to be called, it was called Gentleman's Content. I remember that shit. That shit was dope. We talked about a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool though. You know, sometimes we'll talk about you know, we'll get into current events. We'll kind of talk about some pop culture and music, you know.
Right.
But you know, it's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I'm just glad now, like I actually started this back up, and I actually have a better direction of how I want my podcast to be. Because now it's like I know a bunch of people now. Because back then, before I started like performing, it was like I knew people, but now it's like I know
a lot.
And it's like, okay,
it's
I
so
can
crazy.
expand on that.
You can, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really dope. Like you can really, you know, find a lot to choose from, a lot of different ideas, a lot of different people, a lot of different opinions and shit.
Yeah.
So it's dope. It's dope. It's like, you know, the time that I spent doing it, I definitely enjoyed it. So, sure.
Hell yeah. So, what are some of your future goals as a poet?
Man,
in the near future?
Well, I want to drop this book, my first actual book. Like I've been in a lot of anthologies.
Yeah.
But I want to drop my first actual book.
Me too, man.
And you know, like I've been, man. I started to want to drop it in 2019, had some setbacks, and then of course at the end of 2019, you come into 2020, and you know, man, when COVID hits, you think about so many other things. You write about different things that you know aren't part of your book, and you try to see if you can filter some in there, but it's just like, you know, it's dope. It just gives you way more. Like I spent less time on publishing rather than just coming up with more things to write about, because that year was a different year for sure.
Oh yeah.
It really was, which was an interesting experience. You know, sometimes like as a poet, you know, you almost kind of smirk inside when something like that, like awful happens, because it's like you have something to write about. You know, people connect with pain. You know what I'm saying? It's just learning how to turn that negative energy into just regular kinetic energy. Kinetic energy, another word. My man Cuvante always talks about. It goes from like the first dimension, and it goes to the second dimension on a piece of paper, and the third dimension is on stage. Man, if there's a guy you should interview next, it's my man Cuvante, who does Copper Soul. You remember them?
I
Copper
believe
Soul.
so.
Yeah, him and his girl. They have a son called Soul.
Yeah.
And so they sell a lot of dope copper-based products, along with other things. But yeah, you would have seen it would have been like a couple with a kid at one of the Po' Boy shows. Actually, two of them that we had. The man Cuvante, you know, I should definitely try to, holler at him, because I think you would really like him. Like, he's a really deep guy, really great guy. So he can talk about an array of shit. I be thinking I know a little something, and then my man Cuvante start talking. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He's very dope though. That's my guy, one of my best friends. So for sure.
Hell yeah. Do you have a title for your book whenever it does come out?
Man, right now I got one title, Spokes Book.
Spokes Book.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean,
dig it.
like, it's just like, I don't want to get too caught up in like how deep I want to. I'm just like, man, I'm
Right.
gonna call it Spokes Book. So, when someone says you get Spokes Book, yeah, what's it called? Spokes Book. What you mean? Like, duh. I couldn't think of shit. So
Right.
So I titled it. I titled it that.
Yeah, because I had a Shoebox Poet, last night to record a episode, and like me and him were talking about, his books.
Yeah.
And it's like it blows my mind that he's had 8 books within a span of 3 years.
Yeah, he knows he's got that discipline. And it's like, I've seen some of his books. He definitely knows what he's doing, and he's really seemed like he's got a working process, and I definitely plan on getting with him. I'm really working on a cover right now. I can't wait till I get that settled, get that nice in, because like these pieces, man, there's like this book I got is definitely gonna be more so of pieces that I haven't performed, or at least I don't plan on performing.
Yeah.
Because these motherfuckers are they are Mickey Mouse black. Like, they're dark as hell. Like, they are dark, and I mean like not just in the topic. I mean, like, there's just there's some dark shit in there. I got some shit in there that like that I talk about that is personal, and I'm also more so I like to play characters, in my poems. So I'll be doing a lot of that. But man, I'll just say this: if you're sensitive, and or if you have some triggers, everybody needs trigger warnings nowadays.
Oh, no, that's right.
Nobody don't want to go see a therapist though.
Yeah.
I don't say that, but I'm talking like I got a therapist. So, anyways, the thing is, it's just. Brace yourself, because it's like some things I say, and there's some things that I reveal about my past.
Mhm.
I think those are some of the better reads.
Oh, for sure.
I don't remember who said it, but like one of my favorite quotes, and I said it the last show. I was like, I believe I said it at the last Po' Boy show, or no, it was the show. It was at Mood. No, not Mood. It was at Words on the mic. That's crazy. I had 3 shows recently.
You lose track of time,
bro. If you include the ones I've been doing,
right?
Man, I feel like I haven't done as much as I did last year. But no, it was. I said the quote at Words on the Mic. That's Galaxy of Poets, which is my man, Poet Has Spoken.
Yeah.
And he linked up with Suge. They did a show the night before my show, my last one.
Yeah.
And I said a quote there, and I was like. What was it? I can impress you with my successes. With my success. But I can impact you with my scars or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like kind of. I would do that. I would compare it like that. It's some dope stuff in there though. Like, it's still like some pretty cool things.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's kind of like where I'm pushing it.
Yeah, because like when me and Shoebox were talking last night, you know, I like what he did with his poems because he said it was not really like theme based. It was more like a memoir.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like how majority of my pieces are, and especially for me because I'm more of a storyteller too.
Right.
So it's like I really I can like get down with that and relate to it in that style.
That's the same kind of thing I guess you could say mine is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really just like this is what I've been, this is what I've been really thinking deeply about for the past however many years. So, yeah, memoir per se, like go ahead, chick, come on in, but just be careful when you come in this motherfucker. You know?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, for me it's about time, honestly. I've been writing for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, me and you need to get books out. I already got like all the poems I want.
A couple people need to get some books out, but I guess why not just be the first ones?
Right.
Or I don't even think about this first. I just think like my man TJ's got a book out, and it's called Handful of Poems.
Okay.
TJ calls himself, his stage name is I Ain't No Poet, which means he is a poet.
Yeah.
And he said, I ain't no poet, but here's a handful of poems. That's the handful of poems. It's a dope book. You should check it out. I believe there's still a link to it on the page, maybe not. But the title's on the Po Boys page, PB&P Nash. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what are some recurring Po Boys and Poets event for people that want to come to the Nashville scene or are in the Nashville scene?
TJ's going to be mad because I didn't say that at the beginning. Fuck you, TJ. It's cool. So we have a recurring show at Copper Branch every second and fourth Thursday. And so we're 3 shows in. Overall, I'm really, liking what I'm seeing. So
yeah,
it's a good feeling to be able to really, you're bringing people together. It's something interesting to see. But like, man, I would definitely easily say our last show was our best show.
Oh, I agree.
I think
we went overtime, I think.
Oh, for sure. Technically, I mean, like our first show we went like 8:30. Second show we about 8.
Yeah.
But this one was 9. We were just barely past 9 o'clock, and I believe that's when they closed.
Yeah.
And man, that was dope though. Like everything just lined up right. But it was cool to have all that support. I mean, Alicia, she was a feature.
Yeah.
Like, I've known her for about a couple of years. And I'm like, man, it'd be dope if I get her just to come.
Right.
And I didn't know what song she was gonna pick. All I know is she was gonna come sing. And bro, hey, she sang a couple. And I believe she had sang a Daniel Caesar song. Or she got done singing that, and then she started singing that Whitney Houston song, which I was like, okay, she's really going for it.
Oh yeah,
she's really going for it. I was like, thank you. What? Oh my God. So shout out to her. Shout out to everybody that came through. My man Jaffe Judah from Recycle Reinvest came through and gave a really dope speech. I mean, he really plugged his nonprofit. So
yeah,
I'm gonna be doing a little work with them, which is gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. So just that, all the poets, you guys, Prodigal Poets, that's and my man, the poet that spoken. There's people that showed up that didn't even perform, but they were there.
Oh yeah,
that's the coolest thing. Like James Spoken came through. I mean, Suge came through. Like, man, it's a lot of dope. It was very dope. I didn't know. There's some new poets I never met before.
Right.
My man K2, he was cool. Chess, she was really, really, really dope. I really liked. I really like when someone goes up and they read out a book. I believe that's what she did. She had like a book with her, if I remember correctly. And it's just so, it's like so dope, you know, like that's like an intimate moment.
Yeah.
I think people kind of overlook it sometimes, you know. One of my favorite rappers is Lupe Fiasco, and he's got a song recently. I'm trying to remember what the title was, and I feel bad, but ultimately, you listen to it, it's about hands.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's like, he tells me, you don't even write your raps with us anymore. He's rapping from the perspective of hands, which is crazy. And at the end, he's like, you don't even write your raps with us anymore, or your lyrics with us anymore. And it's like, man, I've been in the studio with a couple artists, and people are really just cool. Like, I do it. I'm not like I don't do it, but I still try to devote time to actually writing, like on my hands. And so I definitely notice this, you know. There's a lot of people who write on their phones, which is cool because a lot of times we're on the go. And I got a lot of stuff on my phone, but I still got shit that I want to look back to. There'll be times like if I come up with something on my phone, I will copy it in my journal still. My best. I still got a lot that I need to catch up on, but man, it's so these motherfuckers do a lot.
Oh yeah. We're doing a lot.
What?
That's for damn
sure. Yes, we are. You guys are too, man. Don't you guys got a show coming up? Somebody posted I feel like it was something about the. I saw something. Did Prodigal Post got something coming up?
Tonight we're gonna be at Americano.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. You said that. See, there's so many things. There's so many shit going on.
Especially on the same night too, because Frizzy's got his at Everything Bar and Lounge too at the same time. Yeah, there's just so much. I think Friday there's shows at Pumphrey and the Beard, I think, but that's like in Dixon.
And the Poetry and the Brew just had a show.
Yeah.
My girl Amy Jackson. She's got something called Gestalt Poetry, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe that's what it's called. Don't be mad at me, Amy Jackson. I think it's Gestalt Poetry.
I think you're right.
She's got something up. She's got that coming up. It's crazy how many. I'm gonna figure it out. But man, there's just so much out, and it's so dope. I need to I'm starting to make sure I go out to everybody else's because I just went to my homegirl Mama just had a show called Mood, and my man Brandon went to that one.
Oh hell yeah!
That one was fun. That one was fun. I posted a couple of clips. Those are the recent ones. I posted. So that was fun. It was at a boxing gym, or like a kickboxing gym.
Oh dude, that's
and I was standing. So it was cool to have a performer. I gotta show it to you real quick.
Yeah.
We were standing. It was so dope. It's this one right here. So if my shit wanna work, I got bad connection. But if you get like right there, man, like I'm standing there and there's people, right there, in the back. You come in, you got the bar, and then immediately there's a fucking ring right there, and then you've got all the seating in the back. It was, I really like the lighting. I really like the lighting.
My alley.
Facts, man. It's so dope. But hey, my homegirl Mama, and me always. She's been doing these shows. She just started doing them. I definitely suggest you go there. I don't know if Brandon told you about it, but he went there. That shit was really dope. My man Suge performed. Man, he called all the dudes, all the men up to the stage, and like we stood behind him as he said this poem, and he really humanized men. It was really dope. Like he asked everybody, do you have anybody that checks on you, type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? When's the last time somebody called you and checked on you, type shit. And that was crazy. And then he started going into this piece. So that was dope. Like, there's a lot of amazing shit growing. So it's good to be a part of it.
Hell yeah. Yes, sir. So, where can people follow you and Po Boys and Poets on social media?
You can follow us on at Po Boys, PBNP Nash, Po Boys and Poets Nashville, but PBNP Nash. Instagram, man, we just started up a Twitch. We're gonna start twitching, you know what I'm saying? But in a good way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got a YouTube page we've had up for a little minute. We're gonna drop a cipher on that. We're gonna get that going. We're gonna drop the cipher probably towards the end of August, but we're gonna do like a little build up where we drop some, we like to call them little singles, but you'll see what we're talking about. And kind of mimicking how they do in the music business. We'll drop little singles as we build up, and it's gonna be dope. So we got that coming at the end of August. You can follow us on Po Boys and Poets. You just type that in on Facebook. We're like the top one from what I understand. So Po Boys, POBO. You could probably put it. But yeah, Po Boys and Poets on Facebook, YouTube, obviously Instagram. Just got a Twitch. We're gonna try to start streaming from that too. So yes, sir.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what we got, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem.
Hey,
Anytime.
hey, yo, dope, man. I'm glad I could do this. You know.
I'm glad we finally got to do this episode.
Yes, sir. It's always good to just talk to really connect with people outside of the actual shows and open mics.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, man. I'll be seeing you for sure at the next Copper Branch, which is next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
I'll be there.
That one's gonna be dope. I thank you for having me come on the Dead Inside, Deep Inside podcast. You know what I'm saying? Death is a part of life. It is. People don't understand. Before creation comes destruction. There's a character in the Dragon Ball Super, which I don't see that he had, but it's cool. He might have it there. A Dragon Ball Super, and I don't really like a lot of the newer stuff. But one of the dopest thing about Dragon Ball Super, the new anime, new writing, is a character called Beerus. He's like an Egyptian cat, and he's called the God of Destruction. He comes and starts smacking Goku around. But I like his design and just overall philosophy. Like that's his job, to destroy planets, as the angels are continue to create planets, so it keeps a balance, so they can still be space in the universe for planets. So it's kind of cool. He thinks about life in a different way. So yeah, Dead Inside. That's you thinking about life in a different way.
Hell yeah. Well, there you have it. That's a spoke
Yes.
from Po Boys and Poets.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Matt Awesome. Y'all stay dead inside and awesome.
Yes, sir.